I've just reached 2,000 days in my perfect world, and in that time I've built a bunch of small farms and contraptions, a bunch of big farms, an airship, and an entire mining town connected by a rail network. And just last episode I built the start of an underground station and a freight train to transport goods back to our main storage. But then, cue the sad music. I fractured my wrist, I bruised a rib or two, and pulled some muscles in what was quite possibly the most unspectacular fall imaginable. I literally just slipped over in the rain and landed awkwardly. It's quite embarrassing. But as you can imagine, that did of course slow me down for a bit. I mean, for the last 2 weeks I've not been able to record. I didn't get to go on my holiday to Cologne, which was really annoying. But that was mainly down to the bruised ribs and pulled muscles as opposed to the actual wrist. But my poor wife has been looking after me the last couple of weeks, making sure that I'm fed and watered. But thankfully, I think we're just about ready to be able to start recording again, although it may be in short stints and this video is likely very late. In the meantime, however, the 2,000-day movie did come out, although technically we are actually... yeah, we're 9 days shy of 2,000 days, but it's close enough. But not only that, the 100k special came out as well, which is basically just a look back at the last 4 years and how we went from 0 to 100,000 subs. And that work of art was put together by my good friend Stubbles, so if you haven't seen that, please do go check it out. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it. But now we're back here on this world, I think it's about time we maybe built some homes for those villagers. You know, the ones we've kept locked in a pen at the industrial town for quite a while. Yeah, I think it's time we treat them to some brand new housing. Before that, however, I do need to show you a few things we did between episodes. The main one being this tunnel entrance here, which does of course go to our storage depot train station thing. But after remapping my crouch key and my run key to my mouse, I did manage to actually get the majority of this done. We've still got some of the corridor around the back here to do, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. But the train station for the sort of dispatch center thing we've got at the top there is now looking a lot better. And as you can see, everything's still working a treat as well. But I also put in a doorway over this side, which connects it to our normal train station, and you can see the start of a path there. That's the other thing we did, which is mainly preparation for today's episode. So if we jump up to our airship, from up here you can see what I've done, and basically I've just sort of started connecting up the path, making sure that everything is going to connect from the top to the bottom, and well, it needs a lot of work, but I think it's looking okay and kind of helps me map out where I know I want to put all the villager houses. I mean, just look at them standing there in the pen, I bet they can't wait. There was one other problem I was having over the last couple of weeks, and I spent a bit of time figuring it out. And those of you that are eagle-eyed may be able to see in my little hotbar there, I have a weird device at the end. And we'll get to that in just a moment, but what it boils down to is my trains. Basically, they were not really working correctly. I was having a little bit of problems with signals and things like that. There was a little bit of crashing. But some wonderful people in the community have pointed me towards a mod called Create Track Map, and when combined with another mod called Web Displays, enables me to have this, which is basically like a little iPad type thing. And it's supposed to work in my offhand, but it doesn't really. It's a bit graphically weird. But if I right click, I can get this, and this is a map of my train network. In fact, I can zoom out further. You can see the entire thing. You can see all the trains working, doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if we zoom in on an area here, we can basically see all the signals. We can see what trains what. We can make sure that things are working as they're supposed to. So we've got our monorail train here. We've got the flying pebble, which is of course the one that goes around and picks everything up from these factories. But this enables me to not only keep track of everywhere my trains are on the network, it also meant that the issues I was having up here with my trains, I could basically see what was causing it, see what signals were doing what, and basically resolve it all. And it may not yet be perfect, but the trains have been going around flawlessly for about 50 days, so I'm assuming that everything's absolutely fine. So yes, this has been exceptionally handy, and I highly recommend it if you're having trouble with your trains. In fact, Show's has done a really good video on it. I'll link that in the description if you do want to check it out. But I think that's enough waffle for today. Let's figure out these houses for the villagers. And I've been giving it a lot of thought on the style of houses I want to put down here, because it was of course a savannah village, and I don't really think that's going to fit in particularly well with what we've got here. At least not that style of house. And then I considered maybe some sort of Victorian style housing, you know, just like terrace houses that you would find in sort of the middle of UK industrial cities and things like that. But that could look a bit samey and repetitive, and I didn't really want that either. So what we're going to be doing is something that's a little bit different, I guess. The style doesn't really have a name either. It's basically just sort of janky, industrialist, shanty, random town punk. I mean, all the cool styles have punk at the end, right? And what this means, I don't really know yet, but I do know what resources I want to use, and I've got an idea of the palettes I want to use as well, and we're just gonna see what we can come up with. And this could all go terribly wrong, but I guess we'll figure that one out together. A short while later, and I've gathered myself a fine selection of resources, and some girders, of course, And I'm going to start working out some houses. I think what I want to do is maybe get the first building down, and then from there I can work out where the road wants to go, because I'll know how far forward the building is. And I think I'm going to put it here. And we'll kind of build it just into the hill here, and we'll fill in the back when we're done. So maybe if we start around here somewhere, we'll just mark out a rough shape of the build. And I reckon something about that size for the main base should be fine. Let's just build the walls up a bit. And like we did with our starter builds, I think I'm going to make use of these again. I really do like the reinforced spruce logs because they make it look nice and sort of metallic at the front here. I think it just adds a little bit extra to it. So let's get these all around the top here. And one thing I do want to do is to bring back a lot of colour, and I should probably go to bed as well. There's mobs everywhere. So as I was saying, I do want to bring some colour back into this area because of course savannah villages are very orange and they use a lot of acacia, and I want to be using some colour over here. So we're going to be using a mix of acacia. We're going to use some viridium as well, like the roof we have over there, and try and just inject a bit more colour back into this area. Hey, look, there's a sleeping bag. Because we've got the dull industrial zone, let's have a bit of a brighter living area. So with that in mind, my plan is to use acacia on the next floor here. Look at this, you lot. I'm actually building you a house. Ultimately, we're going to need more than one, but, you know, you've got to start somewhere. So I think what I want to do here is maybe have a slanty roof there, and put potentially another sort of building extension bit up the top here. So something like that. But what do I want to use on there? Maybe something a bit lighter, like limestone potentially. And we've got plenty of that over here. So maybe something like that. Although, I think I want to give it a bit more depth. Maybe let's bring this out a block. Okay, I'm liking it, but I think I want to have a sticky outy bit down here as well. Because I like the color, I like the brightness, but I think it needs a nice metallic box or something sticking out the front here. I think that's really going to add something here. Maybe just something like this, sort of held up with girders, potentially. And I think what I might actually do is get a few more girders in. I think I'm actually going to change the shape of this building here a little bit as well while we're at it. So I'm wondering if maybe we put in some supports like this. We can sort of build a box out the front. I've made a bit of a mess of this. I'm going to have a little play around with some shapes, and I'll bring you back in once we've figured this out. Maybe I just need to move that whole top bit across by a block. Either way, I'll see you in a moment. One short musical interlude later, I think I'm much happier with that shape. And from a distance, the splash of colour's looking good as well. I've also sort of stuck it out this side a little bit. I think that balances it better, or unbalances it. But that definitely helps with the sort of janky town look we're going for. So let's get some roofs on, let's get some windows in, and I should probably do a little bit of texturing in certain places as well. Time for another musical interlude. And there we go. I think that's looking a little bit better. It's still going to need some detailing once we get round to it, but I've also managed to put in a couple of floors on the inside. The walls are generally looking good, and I think for a first house, that fits in just nicely. Before I go any further, though, I do want to work out where the pathy, roady type thing is going to go, so it'd probably help if I didn't have something in my offhand. But let's just mark out roughly where it's going to head, so it'll be this way, I guess, and then probably over here. And I think I'm going to want a path coming up the side of this wall here as well, so maybe linking it over to here isn't such a bad idea. And of course, this will all link up to the front door here for this dude. And I'll sort out the road properly later. For now, we'll just turn it into dirt paths so we can see where it's going to be. Something like that would do for now. And I guess I should probably work out the interior of this build first before I start adding other builds. Otherwise, I'm going to end up with like 5 or 6 buildings and no interiors. And we've done that in many series in the past. So this one, let's actually do an interior before we move on. A short while later, and I think our first house is actually done. I've sorted out the outside, we've got some lovely flower boxes, and I've just sorted out the path in front a little bit more. Still don't really know what we're going to do with this. I might pave the whole thing, I might make it gravel, I don't know. I'm just kind of experimenting with different path types at the moment. But that's not what's important. What is important is this house. So we've got some decoration out the side here, but when we go inside, it is all lovely and decorated. And these half slab walls have really been a big help. So we've just got a small entrance lobby here with some nice carpeted area, and then we've got our kitchen, which I think looks pretty cool. We've got lots of herbs and things, we've got cooking pots, and we've even got a shopping list stuck to the wall over here. But I particularly like the knife and chopping board from Farmer's Delight. It just really adds a lot, I think. What I should also do is bring one of those big plated meals over here at some point and just sort of put a chicken carcass or something over by the sink. I think that would look quite cool. Then through into the lounge, we're using the canvas rug, which is also from Farmer's Delight, which looks pretty awesome. We've got the create seats with some banners just to create a sofa type area, and just a few other smaller details that you'd expect. But I also got this, which is a trophy I got, I believe, just for looting a buttload of chests. But I figured it needed a home, so that lives here now as well. And we've also got an upstairs, so we have a hallway with a small seating area here, and we've got 2 bedrooms, each one with double beds, and it's the same on this side here, so plenty of space for the villagers. And we've also got the top floor, which doesn't have anything on it at the moment. I guess we can just turn it into storage or something, I don't really know. And this from here just goes to the silver metal box, which is the storage room. Yes. Or a toilet, one of the two. But I'm happy with how this house has come out. We'll probably end up just leaving those other 2 rooms empty. That's fine. I think overall this is looking pretty good, which means 4 of these guys now have a place to live. However, I don't really want to set them free just yet. I think we should probably future-proof this a little bit by maybe building a villager breeder. That seems like the sensible thing to do because, well, this area isn't exactly lit up perfectly. So if we've got villagers wandering around, they're probably gonna die. I mean, we'll do our best to protect them and light up the area, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So that means I need to put another building down. Maybe we'll put it directly next door, or should I put one over here maybe? I don't really know. But either way, it needs to be big enough to house a villager breeder. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, just one where we can chuck them some bread every now and then if we're running a little bit low. And they need to be, well, trapped. They can't get out. So I've dumped down a bunch of blocks, and I think I'm going to stick a couple of buildings in here. And this one here, I'm probably going to make a villager breeder. And this one here will just be another house, or maybe vice versa. I don't really know. But I think I want to build this one first and see if we can fit a breeder inside it. But as usual, the first thing to do is just to get the walls built up. And then we'll have an entrance here on this corner. And I'll just mark that out with some slabs for now. I wonder, can we get away with putting some fancy beams in? But I think I want some stripped dark oak to put on those. So let's quickly use our little chopper machine up here to get some. So you can get chopping, and I think I'm going to have a nap. It looks dark outside. While I'm up here, we need to quickly make some windows as well. So let's get some black dye. Turn that into grey dye. Get some grey stained glass. Turn that into window panes, and I think we want this one here. And they're ready now as well. Excellent stuff. So what I'm thinking is we can do this, and we just end up with some nice thin beams to give a bit of structure to the build, and then maybe just stick a couple of windows in a few places. I guess we can't really put one there, but we can put one there. I kind of want to put one here as well, but I think what I might need to do is fatten out that brick bit there. Yeah, that works. And then let's do that round this side as well. All right, that's looking pretty good. I think what I want to do now is get some kind of a trim on the edge here. And I do have some terracotta with me. Because we're using the brick, I think this could work nicely, but maybe we should try and get some pattern on it. Maybe this layered terracotta would work. How's that looking? Yeah, I think that could work quite nicely. But while I'm here, I know I want to do the next floor in acacia log, but I think there's quite a nice one here. Is it firewood? Mixed acacia log. I think that's the one I want some of. We'll get some nailed ones and a little bit of the firewood as well, just in case. But let's try out these terracotta blocks first. So we'll just put a rim all around the edge here. I guess it's going to go out to there. No, it's going to go out another one. So I guess we're going to need some more bricks in that bit just to cover up the hole. I think that works quite well as a trim, actually. So now let's just build up some walls here. Just use normal acacia logs for now. We'll do some texturing after, I think. I think that sort of shape should work. But what I want to do is to mix in some of... Oh, geez. That's not what I wanted to do. Right, but what I do want to do is to mix in some of these logs. So let's do that. Make sure that I'm not going to be chopping them up. But there we go, that's what we were going for. These acacia logs here, because they really do look like metal panels, I think. And I think if we just mix in certain bits of this, in fact, we'll probably make a lot of the bottom level of this and have it sort of fade into the normal acacia at the top. I think that's going to look pretty cool. But I won't worry about doing those bits just yet. We'll save that for later. For now, I think this building needs a little bit more. So maybe we can have a sticky outy bit over here. And of course, we'll get that propped up with some girders. But I don't think I want to do that in acacia. Maybe we could try something else. What are we doing color-wise over here? Maybe a bit of spruce, potentially? Maybe I should have a sticky outy bit on this side as well. Wait a minute, where's my health low? Oh no, have I run out of food? I have! Run out of food completely. There's like no food in there whatsoever. Well, I best go do some cooking before I starve to death. Now, where were we? Oh yes, spruce. We wanted to put a spruce sticky outy bit on here, and I need to figure out what I want to do for the roof. And I'm thinking maybe scoria? I quite like the scoria for roofs. Let's sort out the sticky outy bit first. So let's chuck some of these down. We'll chuck some windows in there as well. So I have made it a block wider, but I think that's going to work nicely. But it also needs something on this side here. Just something like that maybe, with a little slopey roof on top. I think this is coming together quite nicely. We should have plenty of space here on the top floor to put in a small villager breeder. Don't see that being a problem. So let's sort out this roof. And you know what? I think I am going to go with scoria for this one. But let's just grab a bunch of this from here. And I think it's the stone cutter. If we put it in there, we should be able to get lots of different variants. Yeah, there we go. We'll have some polished cut scoria, and we'll have some stairs of that as well. Some slabs. And we'll get some of the brick slabs as well with the same thing. We'll get the stairs and we'll get the solid ones. And we'll also get some normal cut scoria too. And that should be enough to do a good chunk of the roof. In fact, let's grab a few more of the stairs just in case. And go to bed, it's nighttime. Right, now let's slap a roof on this thing. Right, I think that's working. That's a pretty good shape. I like how everything's coming together. Although that looks a little bit weird. Can I do anything about this? I reckon if we do that, put spruce on the bottom, then acacia on the top, that should look a bit better from the side. Yeah, there we go, much better. Right, so this thing's still gonna need some windows. I need to sort out the texturing on the outside. I need to get doors, and I could probably do with a chimney of some sort as well. So I'm gonna do a bit of detailing on the outside here, and then we're gonna need to figure out how we're gonna put a villager breeder in here. And I think I'll probably keep the downstairs normal, and then have the upstairs basically locked off. And then we can probably just feed the babies down into this room, I guess. And a few moments later, we have an interior. It's very similar to the one we put in the last house on the downstairs, which is absolutely fine. Nothing particularly special going on here, but I think I've worked out the upstairs. And I've put a ladder in here just so villagers can't actually get up here, because up here we have our villager breeder. And, well, hopefully this is going to work. But the plan is to trap 2 villagers in here, and then we've got a couple of chutes here, and what... Oh, jeez. Didn't mean to do that. But we'll trap a couple of villagers in here, and from out here we can put bread or whatever into here, and that will drop down so we can feed them. They'll then make babies who'll want to get onto these beds here, so they'll run across this gap, and then they're just going to drop down. I mean, they might get ever so slightly hurt as they drop down, but that's fine. They'll live. I suppose I could put honey blocks under there, but I'm probably not going to do that. But in theory, this should work, because the villagers down there can't pathfind to these beds, so these beds should always be vacant. So as long as they've got food, they should just keep producing villagers. And then once the villagers are down there, they'll go off to another house and actually find a bed they can sleep in. And just for good measure, I've also put a nice big room on this side as well, just because, well, I didn't really want to leave it empty. So I guess the next thing I need to do is to get some villagers in here, and, well, they're not too far away, so hopefully this won't be too difficult. Let's start off trying a direct approach. So let's just put a couple of composters in there and see if they'll attach to those. Oh, it's all gone wrong. They're all out. Oh, jeez. As long as 2 of them go in there, that's fine. No. Oh, Doris. Right, okay. We need to wrangle these villagers a bit better, I think. Okay, in you go. Right, that's one. And I'm hoping a second one's going to walk up there just naturally. Go on. What are the chances that worked? Amazing. Right, so we have our 2 villagers in there. Let's just get them blocked in. The rest of you can just walk around and do whatever, that's fine. So now I just need to give these guys some food, and in theory, they should start producing some babies. But I haven't got any food with me. But we've definitely got 2 villagers safe now, so the rest of them we can just leave to mill about. Oh, look at this, they're moving in already. Oh, okay, the carpet's blocking their access. Let's just do that. But look at that, they love the house. Amazing. In fact, 4 people? I think we put 4 beds in there, didn't we? Good stuff. The rest of you... Okay, look, don't worry. I am going to build up your house shortly. In fact, I'm going to build up your house next. But first, I need to tidy up my inventory. I'm jammed full of stuff, and I need to get some food for these guys, just to make sure the villager breeder is going to work. So I'm back with some bread. Let's see if they breed. Hopefully, this will work. Hey, they're getting the bread. Are we going to get the hearts? Bit creepy just watching them through a door, but it's fine, it's fine. Oh, they're doing it. Are we going to get a baby? Yes! Oh, and look at that straight away. Amazing. So our bodge job villager breeder seems to do the trick. And we now have baby Evelyn, who doesn't actually have a home right now. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's build another building here. And I think I'm just going to crack on and get this one done. I have a rough idea, I think, of what materials I'm going to use. And I think we'll be using a bunch of the limestone and metallic type blocks over this side, just so we can offset this. So I guess it's time for another beardy montage. Let's go. Pretty happy with that. I think that one suits the village nicely, and I've sorted out the interior as well. So if we take a quick look inside, we've got a kitchen over here, we've got a downstairs area with a weird poster, don't know where that came from, and upstairs here we've got a ladder that goes up to a small room up there, and in here we've got, wow, okay, we've got a bit of a party going on. How many people? There's 5 villagers. There's only 2 beds, but we've still got plenty more space here. We've got... Oh, I should probably sleep, actually. I haven't actually lit up that much, and it looks a bit dangerous up there for the villagers. But I do seem to have a lot of golems spawning, and that's kind of helpful for now, I guess, as long as we don't end up with too many, but we'll have to see what happens. But I think I want to get down a couple more buildings here, so I'm just going to blast through and get them done, and hopefully we'll have a nice little village here when we're finished. And a few hours later, we have 2 more buildings here, 2 more houses for the villagers, which means we've got 5 in total now, so plenty of beds for everyone, which is nice. So for this one here, I've used spruce, diorite, and stone, and some variants. I think it's come out pretty cool. We've got little balconies, we've got walkways and all sorts. And on the inside, we have a lovely, cozy little sort of dining area type thing, and we've got a kitchen, and we've even got Malcolm working. Hello, Malcolm. Oh, he's so happy to see me. Keep up the good work, buddy. And then upstairs here, we have access to the balcony. We have a room on this side, very small room, and a small room on this side, which is a bit bare bones, but there wasn't really a lot of space. This also then goes up to the top floor, which is just storage, and the other balcony. And the other door in this room leads out onto this balcony. So all in all, I think that's working quite nicely and it fits in well. And on this side, we've got what is probably my favourite build. I really like the shape of this one. It's quite simple, but I think the textures work nice. I think the little sticky outy bits work nice as well. And I love the small storage area we have underneath. And once again, on the inside, we just have a basic setup here for the kitchen and eating area. And then upstairs, we have a couple of bedrooms, which are very, very bare bones because the shape's a bit weird in here. But the important thing is the villagers have somewhere to sleep. And they look pretty cool as well. So that's a really good start to the village, but I think we've definitely got space for another building here. And we'll probably end up with another building here, maybe one or two over this side. But for today, I think that's certainly enough building. Something I do still need to do, though, is name the freight train and the monorail train as well, in fact. So let's go name that one while we know that that's going to be in its station. So we're going to be calling the monorail the Hanging Beardsman, which was suggested by Team Greybeards. So thank you very much for that one. I think that works nicely for it. And look at that, the freight train has literally just pulled in, and we can give this one a name as well now, although I need to remember where the actual platform is. I think it's around here somewhere. Aha, there it is. And there were over 300 name suggestions for this one, so I decided in order to narrow it down, I was just going to go with the one that had the most likes, and that was a suggestion by Felix Gal, and that is the Whimsical Whistler. Well, it was actually the Whimsical Whistleblower, but that's a bit long, so we've gone with the Whimsical Whistler. That way we might be able to fit it on some train station boards. But it's a fantastic name. Thank you very much for all the suggestions, and I believe that all of our trains now have a name, which is going to make them much easier for tracking them on that weird little pad thing. But sadly, that's all we've got time for in today's episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, where we're actually going to be building in a different location. Oh my days.